Welcome to another broadcast of the High Net Worth Investors Guide. Now, the High Net Worth Investors Guide is a very unique platform of learning. On this platform, you are able to learn things like the law of preparation, the law of application, the law of wealth management, and the law of wealth expansion. Time permits today, I will talk a little bit about the law of preparation because if you want to be successful, you want to become a high net worth investor, you need to ensure that you're prepared. So, on the preparation, I may talk about things like what is the art and science of success? What is evidence based marketing? What is evidence based leadership? And what is evidence based management? Once time permit, I may look at some of these areas to really help you to understand what it takes to be successful. Today with me in studio, I have three dynamic personality here with me to support in the conversation. I have Paul, and Paul is an expert in capital. He's the guy that is going to really talk to you about financial instruments. But along with talking to you about financial instrument, he's the kind of person that will help you to attain capital to grow and scale your business to become a high net worth individual. Paul will talk a little bit, introduce himself shortly. I also have Peter. Peter is also a very dynamic personality because he's the kind of person that will say to you, where is your master plan? It's 2024. Do you have a master plan for your life? And if you don't have a master plan, perhaps you're really not ready to play the game of life, to lead the game of life. He will talk to you more about that. And we have a young giant among us today. His name is Andrew. And Andrew, very young guy, early 20s, but he's a genius in digital marketing. When you listen to this young man articulate himself, you sound like an adult trapped in a child's body, right? But you will get more of Andrew in today's program. So I want to say to you, call a friend, tell a friend that a high net worth investors guide is on today and they should join. So if you're in business or you intend to get into business, you don't want to miss out on the gems that we're going to be dropping here today. So, with that being said, I'm going to start with Paul. Paul, can you tell us, for those who might be looking at this program for the first time, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Paul Whitehouse, one of the owners of Patriot Business Finance Consultants. And I guess to put it quickly, shortly, and still give you all the info, we help you get the capital that you need for your business. That would be equipment financing, real estate financing, cash flow products like factoring or purchase order financing to fulfill large orders, and industrial hemp fiber. Everything industrial hemp fiber, we love. Okay. We are also scouts for two investment bankers. So if you need to raise growth capital for your existing business, or if you have a startup business that you want to put into effect, we can help you with that. And really love working with those guys. I've adopted one of their mottos, of course, with their permission, but least expensive money first through progressive capital raising. So that's what we like to do is help people get the money that they need to grow their business or start their business.
So, there you had it. That's Paul Whitehouse. This is Nono Gaff and Talk Shop. If you're in business and you need money to grow and scale, to actualize that vision, call on us. We're here committed to that process to ensure that you win.
Yep.
I'm going to come now to Andrew. Andrew, those who have seen you articulate yourself, they know you because you have done well in selling the idea of the importance of branding and marketing, digital and marketing. But help the public to understand who Andrew is. What is your driver? What are your motivators? What inspire you to do what you do today? Can you talk to us a little bit?
Yeah, so founder of a company called Digital World Connections, a marketing advertising firm based here in New York, where we help brands grow through a bunch of different digital avenues. What motivated me to get into this, I guess, was the willingness to learn a little bit more about other industries and to see how and to keep having myself understand that the way these companies make money is by always providing value to someone. So how do you spread that message, right? How do you keep allowing more people to understand that? And then after a certain point, it became in blooded, and now it's like more of a now it's become a passion of mine to understand marketing, not only for other companies but for myself, and how can even someone who doesn't even have a business market themselves so they can create more opportunities for college or internships or jobs or things like that. So so it's an interesting journey. There's a lot of complexities with it. There's a lot of changes that always happen. I think one of the good things that we always have to keep doing is keep an eye on what's changing, because marketing last year and this year, there's already many changes that already happened. And anyone that's not looking at those changes are going to suffer, not now, but in a couple of months from now when everyone else is doing something totally different while you're doing the exact same strategy because you think the same strategy works for all industries, right? So a lot of my time is given into finding the new the ways that people can do marketing more practically, and also educating as to why this is always the most important thing in a business and why you should always keep doing it even if you think it's not working. So that's what my goal is. And then we have a company that helps businesses with that exact step, what if it takes too much time out of their day.
I love that. So what I'm hearing here is that once you're in business, you want to ensure that consistently you're market oriented, you're market sensitive, and you're market responsive. Love that. All right. With that being said, I want to come to the man of the moment, Peter. Peter, um, you are playing an instrumental role in master planning. But would you care to tell us, for those who might be listening to you for the first time, what inspired you to become the author and to become the face of what we can call today master planning? Can you talk to us a little bit about what are your drivers in this regard?
Yeah, Gary, I'm so pleased to be here with you guys and to be communicating with our audience, wherever they are across the globe, viewing this broadcast. Um, this is the issue of master planning. I was actually pushed in this direction because several years ago, maybe about 20 years ago, I looked myself in the mirror and I realized that the person that I had become at an age where my life should have been advancing, I had wasted. Well, I wouldn't say wasted because now it's a part of my education. But I realized the person that I was looking at in the mirror, I did not respect the person because of the achievements that I had at that time. I should have had much, much more. And it's I couldn't blame anybody for that. I've given myself over to a system that was not returning an investment on my time and my interest. And I had to look at that situation at that age and be thinking that, okay, how do I fix that? And it is at that time that I had to pull back and give my life a bird's eye view, begin to redefine my life, begin to, figure out, okay, so this is where I am. How do I get to where I want to go, or to get to that place where I feel comfortable that at least my life is moving forward? And it is so I begin to break down, looking back into where I was coming from, and begin to look at, okay, the mistakes that I had made, and I discovered that I needed to have a bird's eye view over my life. And it is out of that I went on a quest to begin to set 5 year incremental plans. Every 5 year, I set a goal to say I wanted to achieve this. It is at that time that I also learned that even at this time of the year when individuals are thinking about New Year's resolution, and a lot of people fail, and I wonder why is it that myself and individuals will set plans and they fail. And I learned that it's individuals will put too much in 1 year. They overestimate what they can get out of 1 year, and they underestimate what they can get out of 5 years. I learned that from Tony Robbins. So I begin to set, pack all my aspiration. Instead of 1 year, I pack it into 5 years. And lo and behold, when I began looking back, I realized that, hey, I begin to be able to tick off, the boxes, and I begin to feel a sense of fulfillment that my life was on track. And so the whole concept of master planning came out of that concept, that you need to have a broad look at your life and what you're doing and where you're going. And there are certain dimensions, and I discovered that there are 4 dimensions for you for that to happen. And individuals, and so out of that, it is out of that, that I begin to, from personal experience, and having my back against the wall, and I know that I had to do something. That is what caused me to be doing this even now.
All right. Thanks for that share. So what I'm hearing here is that your personal experiences and being exposed to the right information would have pushed you into crafting your language along the line of master planning. All right. Thanks for that share. All right, I have some specific questions that I want to throw out to you individually, but just before I throw out those questions specifically, the first question I'm going to throw out, I want to throw this to Andrew, so I want you to think about it. As you think about it, I will give some insight into, what it takes to become a high net worth investor. Andrew, when you hear this term, branding and marketing is a continuous process. It's like 9 months of child rearing and a lifetime of care. What actually comes to mind when you hear this statement? And I repeat it, branding and marketing is a continuous process. It is like 9 months of child rearing and a lifetime of care. So think about it. I'll come back to that. Come back to you shortly. Now, becoming a high net worth investor, it means that you must have the right perspective on a number of issues. And one of the things that we talk about on this platform is that you want to bring yourself to that point where you have value that people value. And that's a very deep subject matter. You having value that people have value. And that could mean you own real estate. It means that you have these value that people value. And that in itself helps you to become a high net worth individual. The second thing that I want to leave here is that you want to be value that people value. In this particular context, I'm going to use the people among us right now. Paul definitely has value that people value because he's the guy that's going to help you to access capital. And that is literally being value that people value. Andrew also falls uniquely into this category because he's the guy that's going to talk to you about the importance of branding, the importance of marketing. And in the absence of that skill set, your business by default will fail. All right. Peter, again, is another person that falls into this category because he has value that people value. Can you imagine going through, you're driving on a boat, but the boat has no captain? How would you feel? So when Peter talk about master planning, it's literally telling you that you need to take ownership of your boat and be the captain of your life. And you need a master plan to be able to do that. So becoming a high net worth investor, understanding the high net worth investors guide is to truly understand the essence of what we are talking about here. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to come right back to Andrew. Andrew, I trust you had enough time to think through that question. All to you.
Yeah. This is what we covered when I first came here. We talked about a little bit of push and pull, the strategies of push and pull, and why how when every business starts in the beginning, everyone puts so much efforts of reaching out to people. And basically those 9, 12, maybe 15 months are just doing that, and even probably more for some cases. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years and I still do it today. So I'm still pushing, but I do get pulls now as well. But I'm pushing to reach more people manually. I'm pushing for my team to reach new people manually. I am also going to networking events. People are going to networking events manually, right? So there's a lot of effort that I'm doing. But eventually, I would like to step out of this a little bit, focus on other things while still having this grow without any manual effort. And that's where the care comes, because even if I'm not there, there is so much online things about me and the brand that they do the pitching. The online does the pitching for me, right? Or like the online provides the credibility for me that I don't have to explain to a person because I'm already talking over a video to them anyways, right? So I think the care part is if you can maintain that every single time and every single maybe day, week, or month, that is what's going to make you look more credible. Because if you're there for 9 months and you leave after that, you're going to not really be seen anymore, because again, every industry is quite competitive. Those guys are definitely doing more than, maybe once a month or once a week, right? So you're just simply going to be put to the bottom. And again, everyone just looks at the top 3 or top 5 in any sort of search. Nobody really scrolls down and finds anyone else, right? So caring after the 9 months is relevant, because if you care for it and you want more customers and you want more clients, you're going to be more updated, right? Which means you have a higher chance of being seen up there. But if you don't care and you just did all this work, you laid the foundation, but then you don't treat the foundation, you're going to be all the way in the bottom, and you know that nobody searches after top 5. So it's like you're not getting clients. It's maybe there's an urge not to make more money because you're already making a ton of money. There could be a bunch of different factors as to why someone doesn't want to do that. But that's what I would say would be very relevant. I mean, look again. I always like to compare like the biggest companies, right? Starbucks. If we all forgot about Starbucks after the first year they launched, there's so many other coffee shops out there that are doing much more than them, right? We could just go to them. But why? Starbucks wants to build a bigger brand. They want to go even larger. So again, they're maintaining, they're caring now, right? So that that would be my answer, and it directly relates with that push and pull concept. It's like the same but said in a different way.
Well, that's a great answer, Andrew. And one of the reason I asked that question is because I see that sometimes many rising stars in business, they one of the costs that they underestimate in terms of doing business is the cost to remain visible. It's the cost to remain relevant. It's the cost of branding and marketing. They underestimate that. And when you're underestimating the cost associated with building that brand, 9 months and a lifetime of care, that business by default is not going to be successful. A lot of good brands are failing, not because they're not good, but because enough people just don't know about what you're doing. So I really love what you would have said. Paul, PT, you want to chime into this before I send out your individual questions?
Well, I just think what Andrew said was brilliant. Just makes sense. I mean, I think I knew that, but I forgot about it because I don't think about it. But I've caught myself doing the same thing. Push so hard at the beginning, and then you don't push further on LinkedIn or wherever you're advertising that. So I don't think I can add to what he said. I can just say that very impressive, Andrew. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we have to understand that the world in which we're now living in a digital world, and it's if marketing, as Andrew had said earlier, that no matter what we have, we could have the best, whatever the best is. But if I have if I have the cure to, if I have cure to cancer, which would be a marvelous breakthrough, medical breakthrough. But if nobody knows about it, then nobody knows about it. And if we are not visible, if we're not at the places where people are gathering, then we won't be able to have the kind of impact for ourselves, and we'll be underserving. Not only will we be underserving ourselves, but we'll be underserving those people who are dying from cancer, that lives that could have been saved. So the concept of being visible and having given people access, and not, because a big thing has to do with now consistency, because people tend to just want to, easy to get lazy in doing a little bit of work, and then get some traction, and then sit back and believe, thinking that that will be okay, not realizing that it's marketing is a constant. It's something that has to be done. It's a very important facet in business. That can't be delegated. It can't be given out, and it is something that has to be done all the time.
Mhm. All right, thanks for that share, Peter. And I'm just going to say a couple of things, and then I'm going to come to Paul with a question. Paul, the question I want to ask you just before I speak is, how important is access to capital for the success of every business? And how can you help businesses with finances? I just want you to think about that. I repeat the question. How important is access to capital for the success of every business? And how can you help businesses with finance? You guys would have said a number of things that is important. And one, market reality is not constant. It is changing. And if you don't adapt to those changes, you're going to become irrelevant. And as you adopt to changes, what is going to help the public or your ideal client to know that you're adopting to those changes is when you leverage it into branding and into marketing. So that's another reason why the whole branding and marketing process has to be continuous. So again, this is a very important talking point. If you want to be successful, you need to do what is necessary. The last statement I want to make here is that if you're in business and you're seeing yourself not as a high net worth investor in business, you're going to fail. By default, the default setting is you're going to fail. All right? Because there's a cost to do business the right way. And once you understand the cost to do business the right way, you will be forced to start seeing yourself that this is a high net worth investors platform. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to come to Paul. Paul, let me hear from you, my friend.
Okay. Well, that's an easy one because it's like the lifeblood of you need blood for the body, you need money for business. It's the same thing. It needs to flow. It needs to. Your cash register has to ring. Your orders, your invoices have to be paid. So you got it incoming, but to have it incoming, you have to reinvest and put money out as well. There is no free ride and things don't magically happen. So as you say often, Gary, strategic use of capital. Yeah. What is strategic use? Your business is growing. You have 3 semi trucks and you know that you can double your business with 3 more. And the math makes sense. So how do you get the capital to get those 3 trucks? Well, you could save it, but that's going to take a long time and you don't want to do that. And why would you do that? That's using all of your lump sum of cash. Cash is for opportunities and emergencies and to make your balance sheet look good. You got to have cash in the bank to make your balance sheet look good. You want your company to look attractive, right? You don't want it to be ugly. So access to capital is very important, very important. Now, let me say this before I jump into how we can help. I guess this ties into it. If you 2 scenarios where you don't have access to capital, difficult credit. Okay, don't worry about that. Call us and let's talk about it. We will give you the plan. We will get you an approval. I can get you an approval. It's just how much money down that approval is going to require to get done. And that's just the way it is with difficult credit. But just because your bank said no, and just because you think that your credit's difficult, well, guess what? You need to rebuild it. And the way to rebuild it is taking on some debt, making the payments on time. So if you're sitting at a 620 or a 600 or 550 score, and your business paydex score is low, if you're sitting there, if you just keep sitting there, nothing will happen. You have to do something for it to improve. Doing something is called, don't just go get a credit card, because that'll work, that'll improve your score, but that's not a major trade line. There's difference. So a major trade line is you're personally guaranteeing the sign for your new backhoe, your new piece of construction equipment, your new machinery for your machine shop. Make those payments, credit score improves. Next time you won't need money down to get that deal done for you. And as a business grows and grows and grows and keeps on growing, because that's what you want it to do, you're going to need more. You're going to need more equipment. You might need more floor space. So you might need another building. There's all types of things that you will need. And so how come, let me hit you with this one more thing, because this is a new program we got. You're a growing company in existence. You got good financials and you're growing, but you've got a business loan, an SBA loan or a business loan. A business loan means that every asset of the business is spoken for and it has a lien on it. Business financing is, I help you get a piece of equipment. We lease a new bulldozer for your construction company. That's business financing. Business loan is a different term, and it means something different. It means that every asset of your business is spoken for and has a lien on it by the lender. Your accounts receivable, your equipment, and your real estate, one lender finance the whole project for you. So everything is spoken for. If you're a growing company and you cannot borrow any more money because you don't have assets to pledge, what do you do? Okay. Well, there's a new program that the guys that I'm a scout, the two investment bankers that I'm a scout for, a new program is called subordinate debt. Now, those types of companies have no access to capital other than an equity investor coming in. But if an equity investor comes in, they're going to want some ownership in the company and some control. How do you avoid that? You don't take investor money, you take debt. And there's a type of debt that can be obtained. It does come from investors, but it's debt and it's not investment money. So they're not taking a portion of your company. They view your company as stable, growing with a lot of potential. They'll invest money into it. You're already maxed out. You can't go to your bank and borrow another dollar. You're tapped out. You're seemingly stuck, but you're actually not stuck, because this program that I've been, they're rolling out. I'll have all the details at the end of next week. But to cover, to make a broad statement on it, if you're a growing company and you're tapped out at the bank and you got strong financials, we have another source of money for you to help take your company and multiply times 3, times 5, times 10. Okay. How can we help you at Patriot Business Finance Consultants and the High Net Worth Investors Guide? Well, Paul at patriotbfc.com. Email me. That's the first step. Set an appointment. Please make sure that you say that you heard, you saw me and you heard me speaking about this subject on the High Net Worth Investors Guide. And if we're talking about equipment financing, real estate financing, factoring or purchase order financing, we have a large network of lenders, and they all want your business. They all want to say yes. They don't want to say no. That money that they're putting out is inventory. That's how they make their money. They sell it, and it's called interest. So they want to say yes to your deal. What we do is we will package it. We know their programs inside and out. We'll get you approved that day, email it back to you. We just go over the term sheet. If you like it, boom, sign it. We're moving quick to get this stuff done for you. Trying to think if there's anything else to say, Gary, but I think I covered it all right there.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. I want to say, I want to ask Andrew or Peter. You can respond to that question if you want to, in whole or in part. How important is capital for the success of every business? Um, you guys can chime in before I throw the next question out to Peter.
The concept that I'm understanding, what that people needs to understand, I think, where business is concerned, is that business is a language. Business is a language, and well, business has a language, and if we do not understand the language of business, which a lot of it has to do with the language of money. And if an individual is having some kind of, or entering the marketplace, for instance, somebody going into, let me just pick a profession. Somebody is a good cook, and so they want to open a restaurant. The language that they know is the language of a chef, and they know all the right ingredients, and they know how to make that delightable dish that will make you just want to, it's just so beautiful. But now that individual is now going into business, not because you're a great chef. There's no guarantee, and everybody, even though everybody wants your food, it doesn't guarantee that being a great chef, that everybody is just dying for a bit of what you prepare. It doesn't guarantee that that individual is going to be successful where business is concerned, because it's going to take a different set of skills, a different set of communication skills in order to succeed. So when I heard what Paul is saying, there's a language for money. And if individuals do not understand how to speak, and how all these instruments, financial instruments that are available, they, as he was saying, you can become stuck, because at that moment they look around and all their they think that they're maxed out, not understanding that knowing what to say or how to communicate, how to express themselves where money is concerned, that will make a great deal of difference. And so it is essential for individuals to have a person like Paul, to have a team, to put together a team, to have individuals who knows the language and will be able to speak on their behalf, so that they can move forward from where they are to where they want to go. So it's so much important for networking, and to get having experts on your team who speaks the language. I don't know, whatever the language is that you don't know, get somebody who can speak the language where business is concerned.
Mhm.
All right, thanks for that share, um, Peter. Andrew, your take?
Well, I mean, you need to add fuel to the fire, right, to keep the fire going. And some people some people say that money is not everything. I think it's not everything, but I think it's the byproduct of everything. I think we
Mhm.
anything we look at has a value to it, and people can deny it as much as they want, but it's true. So I think if in order to keep business going, I also do believe in the phrase "it takes money to make money." Scared money doesn't make money. These are all different phrases that I've always heard. And I think you always have to be willing to invest back. If and that's only if you want to grow. I mean, people are scared; they don't want to grow in reality, right? So I think yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I love reinvesting back into my brand, and I just want to keep adding more fuel so I can make the fire bigger. So yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. You know, um, the question I want to put now to Peter, and I want you to think about this a little bit. It's how does master plan helps to advance business success? How can the master plan helps to advance business success? Now, as we talk about success, Peter, I want you to think about that. I want to share some of my thoughts on success. And why I want to do this is because we can see that very often there are so many different interpretations to what success is. And what we have done at the High Net Worth Investors Guide is to really break this down so the average person can relate to it. And what we have seen is that there are three stages to success. Stage one is what we call small and average accomplishment. And that can be as small as, you know, walking in the park with a loved one, deciding to take a walk in the park with a loved one and actually doing it. That is success. Or it might be deciding to take your pet to the vet and actually doing it. That is success. That is the what we call small and or average success. There's also a mid-level, the second stage of success that we are looking at. And this is where we call the medium level accomplishment. And this might be, you know, deciding to attain academic excellence and actually attaining it. And another example could be deciding to start a small business and actually starting it. These are all different level of successes. But we look at what we call the third stage of success, and this is what we call the large and major accomplishments. And this could be attaining financial independence, because anyone who attains financial independence, you don't have to be on that treadmill. All right, we call you have the financial wherewithal, and that's a major accomplishment. Another major accomplishment might be, you know, starting, scaling, and taking your business to IPO. To take a business to the initial, IPO, which is an initial public offer, it's a big move. It's a big move, and to be able to make a decision that this is what you want to do, and take an action to make it happen, it's and actually achieving it. These are all phases of success. But there's a couple of things that I want to say quickly before I pass on to Peter. As we look at success from, in our context, we talk about the art and science of success. What is the art and science of success? I don't know if I will have enough time to go into all of that today, but I will definitely be completing my thoughts on what is success. If time permits, I will be looking now at what is the art of success and what is the science of success. Now, what we have seen in terms of commonality between these three stages of success is that you must decide that you want success, and you must take action or inform action. So once you make that decision, it must follow by action or inform action. You've heard me talk about inform action. And as you combine these two things, what automatically happens, you now start to attract the results that you want. And this is what they have in common. But I want to say this, not all stages of success is easy to accomplish. Like, for example, the push to attain academic excellence is a little tougher than making the decision to just take a walk in the park with a loved one. The push to attain financial independence is a little tougher to attain. But I want to say this, and this is where the art and science of success comes into play. And the High Net Worth Investors Guide, we go deep into this to ensure that our community really understand this. Now, to understand the art and science of success is to understand the blueprint to attain large and major accomplishment. And I repeat this. To understand the art and science of success, because there is an art and science of success, it is to understand the blueprint to attain large and major success. Now, success is the ability to set clear goals, big or small, and realize them. The last point I want to make here is that the High Net Worth Investors Guide is designed to provide the blueprint for large and major success. And that is why we have Andrew here, because he's going to talk to you about the importance of building a brand. And he's going to say, hey, stop thinking small. All right? Because the energy to think small is no different than the energy in thinking big. So think big. Paul is going to say, it doesn't matter how big you think. We can get you access to the much needed capital to grow and scale your business. And that again is why we have the High Net Worth Investors Guide. Is we have a team of dynamic personality that are going to spend time and their talent and their resources to make you a gem in your field, to make you successful. Peter's going to say to you, okay, I'm going to help you develop your master plan. So it doesn't matter how big that dream is. I'm here to give you the support to develop your master plan for success. So I'm going to pause here for now. Perhaps if I get some more time later on, I'll talk briefly about what is the science, what is the art of success, and what is the science of success. Peter, all to you.
Yeah, Gary. Just looking at the concept of what you're saying about there's an art and there's a science to success, and because what it boils down to, why master planning is important is that there are so many, I would say, dimensions to business. Business is not just a matter, and going back to the point that I was making earlier, that usually an individual with a passion for, something that they love to do, in a particular way to serve their community, and they would want to take that passion to the marketplace. But the love of their passion does not necessitate that, even though there might be a great demand, even though there is a demand for the person's product or service, it does not equate that they're going to be successful where business is concerned. Because as I had said earlier, that there is, as you are saying, there is an art to them applying their skill, and then there is a science to the amount of information and the results that they will need to have in various dimensions. And business, there can be, so a person going into business, what kind of a business do you think is the person will have to envision? Do they want to operate as just in a small mom and pop enterprise, or do they want to have a bigger enterprise where they have multiple employees, but enough that can easily be managed by the one person? Or do you want a much vast employee where you have to now have a management structure to help that individual to really succeed at that level? These are elements that has to be considered. Now, as I communicate with the people that I work with, I let them know that there are several structures to going out into the marketplace. It starts with the leadership stage. You're a leader, so you're going to have the vision of the marketplace need this service. But as you are going out into the marketplace, then the individual is going to need to do some kind of a research to ensure that the idea that they have is really viable. So they need to have research and development. Then they're going to need now to test the market. So in order to test the market to see how viable it is, they're going to, or they're in order now, they test the market with research and development. That becomes the department, and that one person is the department. But now, to bring customers, they now need to do marketing, and they are now doing as that individual doing the marketing. But for you're building you're building business, so you need to make sales. So now they add another responsibility to themselves, and now they're making sales. But then making sales, realize now that you're going to need to be doing effective accounting and finance management. So now that's another department open up. And then overall, as you're doing more sales, you're going to realize that, and people are coming in, you're going to need to have customer service, because you don't want the person just to come and it's a one-time customer. So you want to have a system of customer service. and then you don't want after the person buy the service and they leave, you want them to keep coming back. So you're going to need to have a system of customer retention. Now, as the individual grow, you start out as just one individual with engage in the marketplace. But the deeper you go, you realize that it becomes so much different moving parts to be successful. Master planning is what comes in now, because after a while the person can become a bottleneck to the enterprise. So they will need to step back and analyze to see, okay, these are the moving parts, and then there has to be the compartments that individuals have to put all these activities. Each activity has to be set in its own department. Now, master planning, how can you go through an 8-hour day with all these moving parts actually going moving in synchronicity, so that it can be a smooth machine that is serving the individual, the service provider, and is serving the recipients that are receiving the service. And at the same time, life continues. There is family. Life continues. There are all kinds of things happening where life is concerned. There is sickness. There is health matters. There is all kinds of matters dealing with people, all the customer, all of these things happening. How can an individual go through and still have balance in their lives? This is where master planning is concerned, because you're going to need to have that bird's eye view. You're going to need to have that vision, that long-term vision of where the person is going, and how they're going to achieve that. So without that master planning component, so much can go wrong in so short of a time. And if that is not there, you can have a very good product or service and then still not make it in the marketplace. Why? Because the vision and all the pieces that is necessary is not in place.
All right, and thanks for that share, Peter. And Paul and Andrew, any thoughts you want to chime in based on what Peter would have said in terms of the master plan?
I'll jump in. Master plan, necessary, needed, can't have it. You said it earlier, Gary. Who wants to jump on a boat that doesn't have a captain and go across the ocean? You don't have a
Not me.
You need a plan. So the importance of a master plan in life and in business should be repeated over and over and over again. Otherwise you're just floating out there, floating, not going in any direction, just taking whatever tides come at you. If you have a plan, then and that ties into the art and science. The art is being able to adapt, to be real fluid. So if you got your master plan, but then something comes out of nowhere, you can adapt, you can move, you can go forward, backwards, sideways, anywhere. You have to be able to mentally adapt, and then, physically adapt also with your actions in your business. So, man, I could just keep talking about master plan, because without it, there's nothing there.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul, Andrew.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like master planning pertains more once you're a little older, I guess. I mean, I've always heard a lot of people say in your 20s, like, have just go through it all, or rather just like live through it, figure it out. And when you're a little bit older, I think have a plan. One of my cousins, who owns a big company, he said, live like there's no plan B, and that forces you to perfect the plan A. And I think that was,
Yeah.
I'm not too big on motivational quotes, but like that, there's certain ones that I've heard, like that one, that have always stuck with me, right? Like, live like there's no other plan. You have to get this right. And I think if you're a little secured there, then that works. So yeah, I agree.
Andrew, you said something there that is very, very profound.
Like,
Yeah, because very often people have plan A, plan B, plan C, and what they would say, I have all of these plans. Say if plan A doesn't work, I'm going to go to plan B and C. But that is a recipe to self-destruct.
Yeah, yeah,
If you commit enough time and talent and resources to build one plan the right way, you're going to be successful, my brother. You're going to be successful. Burn the boat on plan B and C.
burn the boat. Yeah.
Burn the boat. You know, has
Yeah,
Peter, yeah, go on. Paul, I know Peter, you'd want to say something. Paul, you'd want to say something?
I just said, yeah, I agree so much. It came out.
Yep,
It's not,
burn that boat.
Hmm.
As Peter spoke about the master plan, I'm seeing several things, several things. As part of your master plan, you need to have that 2080 rule. And the 2080 rule is where I say, you focus 101% of the time on 20% of the task. And guess what else? We delegate the 80% out. That's an essential part of leadership and management and master planning. You don't want to do everything by yourself because you're going to get burnout. You know, that's not what you want. You want to reserve your time so you could be, the creative minds to grow and expand the vision. All right. As Peter talked about the master plan, I'm thinking about, generalists as against specialists,
Hmm.
because you want to ensure that you're a specialist. No man is an island, and you should never attempt to do everything by yourself. You don't want to learn, the whole ecosystem of doing business because you want to do it all by yourself. Let the accountant do the accountant job. Let the public relation do the public relation job. Let the branding and marketing specialist do the branding and marketing job. Let Paul do his job, access to capital. And you have the organization chart reflecting your master plan. So I'm seeing organization chart here as a part of the master plan. So there's so much that can go into the corporate master planning, organization structure, organization culture. Is part of your master plan. Do you have a cash flow projection? Some people develop the cash flow projection and still don't have, a strong business plan and still don't have a strong cash flow game plan.
Hmm.
These are should all be part of your master plan. So when Peter is talking about your master plan, all of these things are relevant, all right, to help you to be successful. And the reason he's going to say master plan, because you don't need 10 plans.
Right.
10 plans, you self-sabotage already. You fail. By default, you fail. So thanks for that share,
Here,
Peter.
if I
Go
should
ahead.
say it, because we have a dynamic listenership, and we want to say to it's a broad spectrum of individuals. So there are those persons who, if it's a mom and pop shop, they can be the all of those. They can wear all those hats because it's just a small operation. But if an individual has big, high aspirations, and we find that there are a lot of persons that they have high aspirations without understanding that between say one to between as there are gaps between certain value points and serving the community at certain money value points. $1 million business is far different to maintain a $1 million business is far different than maintaining a business that is doing $50,000 or even even half that amount. There are different uh, dynamics that begin to grow. So you know, I meet individuals from time to time that they have big aspirations, and the means by which they want to achieve those aspirations, they don't understand that the dynamics is so much different and what it entails for them to do that. So, it's important, and I'm just reiterating where the master plan is concerned. Individuals have to make those adjustments, know what is required for each level or dimension of business that they want to enter.
All right, thanks for that share, Peter. I want to come to Paul now. And the question I want to put to you, Paul, is why should anyone come to our platform, our ecosystem, and for capital?
Because we do it better, and I can prove it. It's simple. It's simple. I'll take your call at 10 o'clock at night. I'll spend all the time that it takes to explain it to you thoroughly before you make a move. Our goal is to get you the least expensive money under the best terms, and we can accomplish that all the time. Sometimes it comes up when somebody will say to me, well, I've been dealing with my bank for 20 years. I'll just go to them. That can work if you've got a great credit. That can work if you're 680 and above. That will work. If you're 680, 660 and below, it's not going to work for business financing. So if it doesn't work, then obviously we're better to come to because you can't go there and get it. That leaves us better by default. But let's say the guy's got a set 800 credit score and he thinks he can get better financing at his bank as compared to what we can offer him. Your bank is going to give you exactly what they offer. They're not going to make an exception. They're not going to be able to negotiate and get a better deal. They only offer what they offer. They will not tell, and I've said this before on this broadcast, but they're not going to tell you, hey, Gary, just get on out of here, go down the road a couple miles, turn left into X, this other bank, and they're 2 points less expensive than we are. I'm telling you because I'm your friend. That's not what a loan officer is going to tell you. They don't want you to leave. So they're not going to tell you where less expensive money is. How can we do that for you? We've got 105 lenders, 40 some equipment finance companies. Now, let me be clear. We do not use all of them. We scan all of them. We've zeroed in. We've got 6 equipment finance companies that we regularly work with because we like them and they're easy to work with. If somebody is less expensive out there, will we do it? Will we know it? Yes. But in our opinion, these are the best guys. Now, these lenders that we represent, touching on what you said, specialists, not generalists, they're specialists. They only finance it. They do not issue credit cards, debit cards, have savings, CDs. They don't do car loans. A bank is a generalist. Business finance experts and business finance lenders are specialists. So by default, they're competing against a whole different crowd. The banks are competing against themselves. They don't expect you to look deeper where there's less expensive money. They think you're going to come to them because it's easy and you've always been going to them, but you don't always have to. So the lenders that we represent, they're a different level and they're competing against one another. So what we will be able to do for you specifically is absolutely get you the lowest cost of money under the best deal structure with the best terms. And we do that for 2 reasons. It's the right thing to do. If you're doing something, give them the best product. As a buyer, as a byproduct of that, and as a result of, when you do that for clients, they remember you, they like you, and they want to work with you again. And that's what we strive to do. We want to work with you 10 times, not 1 time. And in order to do that, to earn that privilege, then we've got to do it, excellent for you. Does that answer the question, Gary?
Yep, definitely. And we are now. I love the answer, Paul. To just quickly add to that, there's so much more benefits in coming to us. We're going to tell you about financial portfolio. We're going to tell you how to access, how to leverage, and how to mitigate. So you're saving money throughout this entire process. I want to come to Andrew now, because we're about to wrap up now, and this is the wrap-up round. Andrew, can you talk to us about why anyone should come to our ecosystem to get support in branding and marketing?
Well, I think it's more of like if people can understand that we're more of like a one-stop solution services or solution or environment that has people that are all tied to the different parts of business, right? I think the most important one is financing, obviously, right? So a lot of people don't have the capital to spend things in the business. And also every pillar of not even just business but life to like Peter with the master plan, right? I'm very big on like long-term consistency and discipline. I think those kind of qualities they can get out of us. But I think what will make that stronger, or what makes it the strongest, is that it's every day, and it's not something that's every week or once a week or twice a week. When you guys do these things 5 days a week in the morning, and what's even more great about it is that you guys do it early in the morning, so people can set their intention right and start the day rather than end the day off with this motivation, wake up the next day and not feel like doing anything. So I think the timing is right. I think the frequency of us doing it is right. And I think the fact that we have all different branches of different solutions in every part of a business is applicable, is available in this environment, and we're reachable. All of us are reachable. We have a group chat, we're building a community, so we almost like building like a family, even though we have never seen each other in person, but it'll start giving that feeling. And I think that's what's
Why
gonna
you let the cat out of the bag, Andrew?
it's gonna
But I
make
like that. I like that.
I feel like it's gonna make people more like safe and secure and like I have your back feeling, which is good. That's strong. So yeah, I think that's why everyone should be getting on this.
And even to add to what Andrew just said a while ago, that
Answer it.
we're in a global marketplace, and
Put your ears, Joe.
most of my customers, I've never met them in person. Yeah, most of my customers, I've never, my high paying customers rather, I've never met them in person. It's a telephone call, it's a video call, and that's the beauty about the global marketplace. You can do business anywhere, and this is why being here, there's no barriers. We can serve individuals at the highest level, and still enable individuals to still feel that personal touch, as if they're in our neighborhood. And this is a kind of service that we bring, that the high net worth
That's
investor
just,
guide, that we bring to individuals who need to be nurtured, who needs to be need they can get us at any time, and that's the value that we bring to the marketplace.
yeah. All right, thanks for that share, Peter. We're about to wrap up now, but you guys have made some valid points, and I love that. So I'm trusting that our viewing public has gained some value. Now, Andrea made a good point because we are providing capital throughout 50 states in the US, and it's going to be hard to meet every single person across state. They might reach with one of our BFCs, or we may talk on the phone. But when you're doing global business, it is tough to meet everybody. All right. But I love the points. Peter, I know you didn't get to make your last remark, but can you give us your closing remarks just before we pull the curtain down on today's program? Why would you advise anyone to come be part of our community? And what are some of the key benefits? To you, Peter.
Well, the number one thing that I would say is that we are practitioners of what we do, meaning that we use our own service. Each person has grown to where they are, not by studying something. We're living in the chat GPT economy now, where anybody can become a theoretical expert at what they do. We can just go do some research and we get a body of information, and then we can, especially as it is being given through the internet, it is being dispensed through the internet. It's easy for me to just
That's a gem.
yeah.
I like that, Peter. Go on.
But the issue is that each of us have our we do what we do from the ground up. We were doing what we do when there was no chat GPT, or where no internet. The internet was not such a big thing. We had to figure it out when there was no Zoom and there was no StreamYard. We were in the trenches figuring out our disciplines for ourselves. So we do this because it is in our blood. Master planning is something, as I said earlier, and I'm thankful for Gary too, because sometimes you need to have individuals who can, see what, be able to help you to communicate a little bit more, sharper. Because when I started out, I call what I was doing personal life development plan. And just that one change in shifting from development to master, it has a more sharper edge to what it is. So we also have that where we are there for each other, in our expertise in what we do, to ensure that, so we are a community. What bottom line of what I'm saying is that we're not just individuals who just this are fragmented in what we do, but we form a very close-knit community who watches out for each other as well, to make sure that we succeed, and we pass on that to any individual who become a part of us. We treat individual as a part of a close-knit community, and we are here to make sure that people succeed.
Well, there you had it, public. I didn't say it. You had Paul, you had Peter, you had Andrew, who said it all. So I really trust that you enjoyed today's program, the High Net Worth Investors Guide. And we will do this again next week, Saturday, the High Net Worth Investors Guide. So remember, you need access to capital, and do come in and do talk to us. And for the audience, before you leave, guess who's just popped in the room? Our top 500 consultant. Let me give him a chance to say a few words. Mr.
Hey.
Grant McGuire, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I apologize for my tardiness. I have no excuse. But I wanted to say a few words. I see what you guys are doing. This is very good, valuable information. Anyone that is in business, to looking truly to grow financially, to grow, and just in their personal development, will get a lot out of these types of discussions. So I'll definitely be available for the next discussion and on time.
Awesome. Well, this is the guy I promised you today. Paul, I'm going to come to you. As I said, I promise you that this guy should be with us today. His name is Grant McGuire, and he is no ordinary person. He's a branding and marketing specialist. He has worked with top, 500 and 100 companies. And next week, he's going to be here with us to really help you to understand what it takes to work with some big sharks in business. Paul, you're about to say something? You mute, Paul.
Yes, I was teasing you guys before we went on air about how you were trying to marginalize me because Gary, Peter, Andrew, look at all this hairy son of a gun, right? And then there we go. Now I feel good. We got 2 against 3. It ain't against 3. We got 2 with 3. We got 5 together. But all right.
Okay, my friends.
I've been working.
Grant, thanks for showing up. Peter, go ahead.
Now, I was saying that I'm working hard to ensure that I keep mine, because the line keep moving back. So I've been telling my wife that I got to, I don't know if I can get some lotions and portions to keep it from going away.
Your brain's getting bigger. Your hairline's your brain's getting bigger.
All right, guys, and we had fun today, and I'm happy that Grant McGuire would have shown up here today. At least, he alerted you that you need to be here next week at 2 p.m. EST to really listen to his perspective and all of his tricks and techniques in growing businesses. So with that being said, I want to thank you, all of you guys, everyone in listening land, for being with us today, and we will do this again next week.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
All right.